If you invested $10,000 into Salesforce stock 10 years ago, you would have $42,600 today. That's an incredible return over a 10-year time span. So how did Salesforce get here? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video, as well as inform you if you can buy Salesforce stock today and expect a good return on investment over the next decade. So we're going to talk about the last decade, but I'm also going to touch on the next decade if you can buy Salesforce stock today for that next decade. So let's get into it. Look at Salesforce annual revenue over the last decade. Let's see this growth here from a little over $5 billion in 2013, growing all the way up to $31.35 billion. That's a very nice rate of growth for revenue for Salesforce. And you know, customer relationship management is going to continue becoming an ever increasing part of enterprises worldwide. Knowing your customer, knowing the relationship between yourself and the customer, maximizing that relationship, it's going to become so much more important now because so many more companies are getting relationships direct to their customers, right? They used to deal with third parties and middlemen and all of that. Now the trend has been businesses going direct to customers with apps, with websites, instead of through middlemen like department stores and those kinds of relationships. So now enterprises are getting more data from their customers and the ability to optimize that data to use that data to increase revenue, to increase profitability, to decrease risk is all becoming so much more important, and that's likely to persist for decades into the future. The growth in revenue for Salesforce has done a good job in increasing its net profitability. You could see the chart here from 2013 all the way up to before the pandemic outbreak. Salesforce has done an excellent job increasing its net profitability. Then during the pandemic, it had wild fluctuations, first coming down and then exploding upward north of $4 billion. This was also due to some acquisitions that the company made. And then, of course, as economies reopened, as enterprises started to look to reduce costs, and Salesforce had hired a little bit too much during the pandemic, its net profit came back down to 208 million. Although the company has made huge cost cutting announcements so far in 2023 that are likely to improve its bottom line going forward. Also, I would like to point out that this decrease in net profitability, you could see it relate to the decrease in the stock price very closely, right? Look at that. The stock price was up over 500% in the last decade, but then we had a decline downwards, and that decline downwards can be very closely related to this decline in net profitability. So you could say that the stock has already paid the price for this decline in net profitability. So looking at the next decade, if you can invest in Salesforce stock, I wanted to see its valuation, and it's trading at a forward price to earnings ratio of 26.46. That's near the lowest it has been according to this metric going back for a couple of years. So if you're thinking about buying Salesforce stock right now, you're getting it at a relatively bargain valuation. And there's a reason for that, right? The company's facing headwinds that has its net profitably down significantly from the peak of over $4 billion in a trailing 12-month period. So the fact that the company is facing headwinds on profitability is already priced into this valuation, arguably. So if I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So if I'm looking at the next decade, I really like Salesforce stock. If you're thinking about it, I think it's a good choice to buy Salesforce stock for the next decade. I think you will be happy with your choice. Looking forward 10 years from now, you'll look back to your decision to buy Salesforce stock in 2023 as something that you were happy about. In fact, Salesforce stock is one of my top 20 stocks to buy for 2023, and I will link to that video that highlights all 20 of my top stocks to buy for 2023. So that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed this one, I'll add a few videos, including the one I talked about. They're popping up on your screen right now. So please click on one of those, and I'll see you over there. Thank you so much for watching.